with that. He got to tour with David Bowie. He tours all over the country now and gets to do his own thing. And a guy from Kentucky.
Is he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah, you think of him like being English or something. But
a guy named Adrian that was born in Kentucky.
How about that?
I bet he had to beat people off with that guitar for a while. If you're a guitar geek, you know who that is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And this is King Crimson. This is like, okay. But is that how most musicians started? They wanted to be the center of attention, and the direction didn't go that way.
I think in many cases.
I mean, if you're a session guy, you make an amazing living. You can, and if you're a what is it? This Gun's for Hire. Somebody goes out on tour, you go with them. You can go from gig to gig to gig to gig.
Yeah.
But do you think Adrian Belew, as an example, started out saying, "I want to be the star," and it just
maybe he recognized what a great guitar player he was. He would see other clubs, bands on stage. He would say, "Man, I'm better than that guy. Maybe I got a shot at this." And then, somewhere along the lines, I mean, he doesn't have the look of, say, Slash or someone who has a MTV, back when MTV mattered, kind of look about him. So maybe that worked against him. I don't know.
I believe the term is Saul.
Saul.
Did you know that?
What is
Slash's real name?
Oh, that's right.
Saul. That Saul guy sure plays. Does it bug you when you see, and you mentioned Slash? Is it the riff in the credit card commercial, Welcome to the Jungle?
Oh,
He's
yeah.
playing,
Yeah.
Okay. Does that bother you? Because I know it bothers people to turn on a Cadillac ad and hear Led Zeppelin or Prince.
Yeah.
Okay.
Depends on the song. I think I mentioned this before with you. One of your former colleagues, Mike Pizzuta, set me straight. He said, look, they're going to show the commercials no matter what. There might as well be some good music to it. I agree now about it. There's some hallowed songs, like if they did Peter Gabriel's Salisbury Hill, which some of us just cherish, I would boycott. I would burn the corporation down that stole that for a commercial. But if you're playing another one of his songs, Shock the Monkey or something, then I'm fine with a commercial. It depends how like if Stairway to Heaven is used, a lot of us grew up thinking that was like this most amazing thing ever. That gets a little offensive. But if you're picking Misty Mountain Hop by Led Zeppelin, you just recognize the beat, then I'm fine with it. How about you?
Did you see that Jimmy Page just sang Stairway to Heaven for the first time in almost 20 years?
No.
Sang it, and I thought, what's going on? Somebody offered him 6 figures to his charity.
Ah, smart.
If he sang it. And he sang it for the first time in, literally decades. Do artists owe their crowd to play the hits? I've heard Warren Zevon, he hated Werewolves of London, but
I think they do. I think there's like 3 exceptions, and the one I think of is Radiohead doesn't do their big hit Creep, and it kind of fits their mode as being a little bit too cool for school, and they're going to do what they want to do. And Bob Dylan's another one. I would love if he came out and did all his old hits. You're getting like 3 hits from Dylan, and the other 19 songs are newer stuff, but you know that going in, and I accept that. So it depends. But if it's someone, that had a couple hits like Everclear back in the 90s, and they're not going to do, one of the Santa Monica song or something, then I'm mad because you're not famous enough.
Father of Mine.
Yes. I don't know where I thought of them. But so there are a couple I'll give a pass to, but I think most owe it to their fans. I mean, come on, that's what's paying for your yacht and your Malibu home. So does it really hurt to do a song you've done 58,000 times? No.
Scott Tady is my guest.
You know what some of them do? They turn the microphone to the crowd and let them sing
it.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys, come on, man, you know the words.
Bon Jovi does that. I mean, how many times can you sing One and Dead or Alive? So turn that mic to the crowd, let them do their thing.
How do you feel about Rearranged? Because you mentioned Bob Dylan. I saw Dylan. I know Dylan music. There were half a dozen songs. I couldn't even figure out what it was. There's the chorus. Yes. It's Rainy Day Women 12 and 35. Yeah. Does that bother you, or do you appreciate the growth over the years of the artist?
I kind of like it. In Dylan's case, I give him a pass, and I like when it's not carbon copy, but it can't get too funky. Or do one song kind of out there. Do one of your hits a little bit slower,
a little trippy.
Yeah, then I see it from a new perspective. But if you're doing it for every song, it gets a bit arrogant.
Scott Tady is with me. More on the entertainment world after this. Scott works for the Beaver County Times. He does this for a living.
This is Commissioner Jack Manning with a message to please remember to vote for me before you return your mail-in ballots or at the polls in person on November 7th. One of the things when it comes to fiscal accountability and being fiscally responsible is investing in the future, putting something back into our facilities. I was surprised that the courthouse was in such need of repair mechanically, the carpets, the tile, different things that we've been able to do over the last several years. And part of that is because we've neglected it for a long time. So it's part of that investing in the future by using your money wisely to upgrade the courthouse, to upgrade our parks, to upgrade recreation, to make sure that we have state-of-the-art facilities that are efficient and effective for serving the people of Beaver County. This message was paid for by the I Back Jack Committee campaign to re-elect Commissioner Jack Manning.
Join Beaver County Radio on Saturday, November 11th for a special audio and video presentation of this year's Beaver County Veterans Day Parade in Beaver. Mike Romai and Frank Sparks will have live audio coverage on WBVP 99.3 FM and BCR streaming outlets. You can watch the video coverage on the Beaver County Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel. Beaver County Radio's coverage of the 2023 Beaver County Veterans Day Parade is being brought to you by Al's Corner, Carver Construction, Falcone's Moon Township Ford, J. Young Refuse, the J&J Spratt Funeral Home, Right Way Mobility, the Spanos Group of Raymond James, Friendly Federal Credit Union, Nalco Water, and Beaver County Radio.
Hello, my name is Dan Viscuso, and I'm your candidate for Magisterial District Judge seated in New Brighton. My certification by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court Minor Judiciary Board and my 23 years of law enforcement service makes me the most qualified candidate with unmatched experience. I am the only candidate unanimously endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police, Beaver Valley Lodge No. 4, and the Pennsylvania State Police, Brady Paul Memorial Lodge No. 54. I am humbly asking for each and every one of your votes on November 7th. Thank you.
Paid for by Friends of Dan Viscuso.
Tune in to Beaver County Radio this Friday morning at 9:10 for Candidate Cast, a debate between the candidates for Beaver County Commissioner. Candidates Daniel Camp, Tony Amadeo, Jack Manning, and Julian Taylor will answer questions from panelists Dr. Cheryl King, Donnelly Seipel, and Mike Romai. Beaver County Radio General Manager Frank Sparks will be the moderator. Candidate Cast will not only be live on 99.3 FM and WBVP, it will be video streamed on the Beaver County Radio Facebook page and YouTube channel. Candidate Cast is being brought to you by the Cornerstone of Beaver County and Beaver County Radio.
This is Attorney Nate Bible, and I am running to become your next district attorney here in Beaver County. I have real trial experience handling hundreds of criminal cases. The district attorney's office works side by side with law enforcement, and I am the only candidate endorsed by the police. The police are sending a message to the voters that they are ready for change. I am also endorsed by over 25 trade and labor unions. As a lifelong resident of Beaver County, I am ready to serve as your next DA. Vote Nate Bible for DA on November 7th. Paid for by Nate Bible for DA.
This is Michael Rossi, and I'm running for re-election for the position of Beaver County Prothonotary. Known as the biggest filing office in Beaver County, we are very diligent and efficient in maintaining your civil records. We are moving closer to a more modern electronic filing system to keep up with the ever-changing world of technology. This is me, Michael Rossi, asking for your support and trust, and I will continue to maintain my office with dignity and pride. You had the confidence in me in 2019, and I did not disappoint. On November 7th, vote Michael Rossi Prothonotary, paid for by the Committee of Run with Rossi.
You're listening to Beaver County Radio, 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls and 1460 WMBA Ambridge, broadcasting live from the St. Barnabas studios.
Not much time left. 9 minutes before noon, Scott Tady of the Beaver County Times is here. My heart grew 1,000 sizes one day, maybe last week. The Rochester, what is it called? I did a show there years and years and years ago, right on the water, that amphitheater. That is such a cool venue, and now, according to your writings, it's back.
It is the first time in about 12 years they had a show there this past Sunday. The Jaggers were supposed to be the headliner. It rained. The rain started to mist and come on stage. The Jaggers, they bailed on that. But the opening act played a whole 2-hour set. They're called Tony Barge's Honky Tonk Heroes. They did a bunch of Waylon and Willie and
the Boys.
Creedence Clearwater Revival and the Boys, yes, and Johnny Cash too.
Sweet.
And it just sounded so good on the stage. You're right underneath the Rochester-Monaca Bridge. There were a lot of food vendors too. Al's Pizza, I had some great pizza from them. They're opening a new storefront in New Brighton. I know you guys are down with Al's too, right?
We're down with Al's. Storefront meaning they're still going to have the truck, right?
Yeah, he's still going to do the mobile
okay.
truck. Yeah, but they're going to be open year round now because this time of year it's kind of hard to do the mobile. But anyway, it's so good to see shows there. They added more parking. If you remember back in like 2008, 9, you would go to maybe see Joe Goshecki played there or Norm Nardini played there. Parking was kind of an issue. It's not anymore. So it's just a neat place. And again, this was like a Sunday. The Steelers were playing. It was like 48 degrees, so it wasn't a big turnout. So if you saw any pictures of it, don't worry. Next summer, when they get shows going there, there'll be boats on the water. There'll be hundreds of people. It's going to be a good scene, I hope, I think.
It's one of the few places, and you and I have talked about this, and we've talked off the air. I remember doing that show. We did a lot of, way back in the day, there was a lot of shows, and there was a lot of blurry vision. But I remember that show thinking, this is a really cool venue.
Pittsburgh doesn't really have that. They have one on the south side. It's kind of along the river, but you are literally spitting distance of the Ohio River in this venue, and it's just a neat setting. You got the bridges to look at, and and it's going to be free shows there. It'd be hard for them to set up a gate. I guess they could, but then everyone would just take their boat there and watch it for free.
How important is it for a community to have facilities and activities and opportunities like this? Because your job, you see communities that don't have these things.
It adds a lot to the community because people were going there, but they're going to support local businesses. They're going to go to the food vendor. There was a lot of people selling arts and crafts and that kind of thing as well, and they're making some money. I think they need beer. They did not have a beer vendor this year. Back in the day, Rochester, like the fire department, would make money off that. They had the license. They would just have, you'd get two choices, lighter or regular, but they made money. People lined up for it, and when they're having beer, they're staying longer. And it was just a good scene. But they kind of tried it late in the year, one shot. Let's see what happens. I think they learned having Oktoberfest on the final Sunday in October is kind of risky in Western Pennsylvania. You need to move it up a week or two because the weather was really. Ugh.
Well, but that's a crapshoot anyway, isn't it?
It is.
This time of year. I'm talking to the guy that rolled up in a convertible.
Yeah. But you learn. Like you guys had your big trunk or treat a weekend earlier, and you didn't have 48-degree weather.
We were absolutely blessed because at 11 o'clock, we're all here working, pretending to work, setting up, and there was a little bit of drizzle. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, okay. And trust the logic of the guy wearing a Beaver suit anyway. But about 11:30, it stopped. The sun came out a little bit, but it stopped raining. Everybody had a great time. That's the crapshoot. People say, "Oh, I'd love to be a promoter." That's one of the big things about being a promoter, right there.
You're losing some money on a rainy day on an outdoor show. Yeah. Hey, real quick, I want to throw in a plug. This Saturday on CBS Saturday morning, 5 Beaver County musicians getting some national TV time. That band I'm always talking about, Charles Wesley Godwin and the Allegheny High is the name of the band. Charles is from Morgantown. His entire backing band's Beaver County, Pittsburgh guys, a guy from New Brighton, a guy from Chippewa, a guy from Center, all in the band, a guy from Hopewell. They're going to be on the CBS Saturday morning talking about this breakout artist. They're playing stadiums next year, opening for Luke Combs. They've toured with Zach Bryan, played sold-out shows. They've headlined the Ryman. They played Red Rocks. I keep begging Pittsburgh radio stations to play them. They keep ignoring me. If only, Eddie, there was a station that played both country and rock and supported Beaver County music. If only. Oh, wait.
You know what?
The Beaver.
I know a guy.
Let's get them on the Beaver.
I know a guy. Anything before we got to get out of here?
No.
That was amazing. You're talking about local guys and stadium tours and stuff. And
Pittsburgh radio's giving me nothing. You guys are going to do it, I know.
Well, here. Okay.
Let's do it right now.
I wasn't going to say anything, but I'll go ahead and say it right now.
Say it.
Do you know why Pittsburgh radio doesn't care?
Why?
Because they're not Pittsburgh radio.
Good point.
You're getting a list from somewhere else.
Columbus or Dallas or
Dallas.
Somewhere. Is it?
Yeah, well, that's one of them.
Strike two.
Way to get my goat at the end, man. Yeah.
Oh, my column this week about a band called The Distractions. They're back. They're not
I like
called
how
The
you
Extractions.
jumped in after I flipped out.
I got product to plug. I got a brand here. Anyway, people remember the Distractions from back in the late 90s.
Yeah.
For the first time in like 20 years, they're reuniting. They're playing a show at Mario's and Mario's and the former Thursdays in Bridgewater. It's all in my Friday, Sunday column.
Scott Tady of the Beaver County Times. I knew you were going to just keep poking. I'll talk about that all day.
And my new book just kidding.
And my new book, What I Learned on Tour. No, I can't. I don't remember those words anyway. Good seeing you, man.
You too, Eddie.
Thanks for tuning in to Notes on Local Entertainment with Scott Tady, entertainment editor for the Beaver County Times, and Eddie Crow, Tune in again next Thursday at 11:30 for all of the updated music information in Beaver County.
Each year, hundreds of individuals and families right here in Beaver County struggle with homelessness or housing-related crises. With the cold months ahead, that makes the struggle harder and more dangerous.